Hey guys, Kamina the coach here. So, welcome back if you are a regular here. And if you're new here, my name is Kamina the coach. I have been working and living abroad since around 2011, 2012, who knows for sure. I'm working and living in currently in my ninth country. In March of 2020, I moved back to the United States and really started addressing my early childhood trauma and adoption trauma. So this channel is a mixture of ways to live well, ways to overcome trauma, and ways to get it together, to get brave enough, to get organized enough to start working and living abroad. So it's a culmination of all of those things because I am a lot of different things. So before I get into this, so this is going to be a video about, as a Black woman, what it's like living abroad and dating abroad. So I'm not a group person, but I've been feeling a little isolated lately and have absolutely no intention of going back to the United States at all, probably. The United States airports are some of my most dreaded places to go, and there's absolutely no reason for me to go to the United States anymore. But because of that, I am feeling a little isolated, especially because of where I'm working and living now. I'm currently in Baghdad, Iraq, and it's not that Baghdad, Iraq is bad. I actually don't know because at my current job location, we're not allowed off the campus. So it's very restrictive, and I haven't been on a date with anyone since August of 2022. I have virtually dated, but that's it, and that didn't last but like 3 months. It was nice while it lasted though. So that's what this video is going to be about, but I want to back up a little bit. So I have joined a couple of groups again because I've been feeling isolated. And so when I first moved abroad, there wasn't a lot of information about working and living abroad. I've been a coach for well over a decade. So the longer I worked and lived abroad, I kind of refocused my coaching business to helping people get overseas to work and live. So I was a coach before I moved overseas. So I see a lot of people who've lived overseas for 1 year, starting businesses, helping people to work and live abroad. I just want to say a couple of things, not to say that everything I say is right, but just what makes me a little different from everybody else. I've never lived in any country illegally. Working on a tourist visa as a digital nomad is illegal in every single country in the world. Have I researched every country in the world? No, but working on a tourist visa is illegal anywhere. So a lot of these people are digital nomads, essentially teaching people how to colonize people's country and live there illegally. I don't condone that, and I don't live like that. Number one. Number two, I have worked in a lot of different places. I'm in my ninth different country, but I've worked a lot more different places than that. When I'm unhappy, I move. So I'm very versed in what processes look like, visa processes, and I've been researching the countries where I want to live and what it takes to live there legally long term since probably the 5 year mark. Maybe longer than that. Maybe I don't know, 7 years ago I've been researching this kind of stuff. So what you're going to find a lot of online is people who have worked in one country, lived in that country illegally, and have made a business out of it. All of my content here on my channel is free, obviously. A lot of people reach out to me directly. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I would ask that you kind of drop a Sisters in Change, because it's work to help you get organized. But the truth is, you don't really need me, and you don't really need anyone else to do this stuff. I see a lot of people in these groups asking the same question again and again and again. And honestly, I've answered all those questions on this channel. How do you choose a country? What's the best country for this and the best country for that? I've answered all those questions on this channel. It just takes a little bit of legwork on your end. Somebody asked, how do you receive packages? There's all kinds of services. All you have to do is type it into Google. And if you want some references, type in reviews for that country. So it's a little disheartening to see all these people trying to make money off of you, and they don't really have the experience, and in my opinion, are not really living abroad ethically. I will give this one last little tidbit before I go into living abroad as a Black woman. Please don't be a colonizer. Community is important, but I see a lot of people gentrifying cities and states in very poor countries, making it hard for the locals to live. Chiang Mai, Puerto Escondido, Mexico City, places in Merida, Playa del Carmen, Baja California. You're making it unlivable for the locals. I just wanted to put that out there. So, and remember, what goes around comes around. Karma is a thing. So again, I'm going to just talk a little bit about living abroad as a Black woman. So I've talked about this before, but it hits a little differently here recently. Because my summer vacation is coming up, and I'd really like to spend some time with another Black American. So if somebody was like, you shouldn't restrict yourself to Black Americans. Dear, I've been abroad for over a decade, and I've dated many other. Dated Palestinian, I've dated Turkish, I've dated Egyptian, I've dated Omani, Saudi even, and African, several different countries in Africa. As generally, I mean, other than Southeast Asia, I've dated a little bit of everything, and in general, the same. If you know anything about me, if you've watched the show at all, you know that I'm very, very pro-Black, and in general, I get the same reaction all the time. You're so preoccupied with race, and the United States isn't really like that, and you're making it bigger than it is. Essentially the same things I get from white Americans. Not all, but most, and I don't have the energy for that anymore. It's not my job to educate you, and it's just not, it's too much for me. I'm not interested in it, and so in general, I really would prefer to date another Black American, so I don't have to explain myself. I'm 44. I'm not interested in explaining myself or defending my stance. So why is that so difficult? Well, number one, I think that Black women outnumber Black men abroad quite a bit. In these groups, it is a majority of Black women. Number two, the Black men that are abroad, and this is a sweeping generalization, but it's a generalization because it's generally true. The Black men that are abroad want whatever it is in the country that they've gone to. Most of them are married to or dating the women in the countries that they are living in locally. To each their own, but it doesn't work that easily for Black women. So let's talk about stereotypes. So when people abroad stereotype Black men, doesn't really matter where they're from. When people abroad stereotype Black men, they think of they think of rappers, they think of basketball players, and there's all this, all of these things. And also the Black body has been very sexualized. So for men, that turns out to be, I don't know, it depends on how you feel about it, a positive for them, I suppose. For women, it ends up being that most people assume that we're prostitutes. I have done a video about this before, and I have actually been stopped at a club, trying to go into a club in Dubai, and not been allowed in because they thought that I was a prostitute. I have had people tell me directly that they just wanted to have sex with me, and this is the generalization of Black women. I do not know if there are a lot of African women prostituting themselves abroad, but I do know that the general assumption when I meet people who are not American is that I'm a prostitute or that I'm easy. Again, returning to the fact, this is why it's so difficult for me. I could date abroad, but it's not a pleasant experience with something other than a Black American. And in general, the Black American men are more interested in whatever it is that is there where they're at, and their bodies have been over-sexualized as well, and obtaining one is a bit like obtaining a trophy. All generalizations, but it's a generalization because it's generally true. Or they're young and they want to party and have a good time, and I'm definitely not hating against that. I'm not really interested in getting married and settling down either, but I would like somebody to enjoy vacation with. Somebody, to be able to hold hands with, have a kiss or something. And other than flying my ex to wherever I'm at so that I have some company. And yes, it has gotten to that point for me. I posted in one of these Black American expat groups, and all the women jumped on me, and they were all very upset. And what kind of group do you think this is? And I'm like, well, live abroad long enough with the belief system and the desires that I have, and you kind of generally find the same type of situation. The older I get, the less inclined I am to settle. So that isolates me even more. So my options are remain completely alone or get more creative, which I have tried, and it's just, in general, it's exhausting. I am not traditional. I'm no longer interested in getting married or having children. I really just want a friend, somebody that I have some chemistry with, that I can meet on a nice warm beach somewhere, and who also shares the same understanding about the system in the United States that has embedded a degree of trauma that is unspeakable, and it will take many generations to undo what has been done to us. And I don't want to date somebody that I have to explain that to. Is that too much to ask? It seems to be. So this is one of the things that I find that is a huge point of tedium in living abroad as a Black woman. And the few that are brave enough to speak up about it, who share my frame of mind, also feel the same way. Now, have women found love? Have Black women found love? Yes. I do unfortunately know of a couple of sisters who married Africans and took them back to the United States. And when they got their green card, they found out they have a wife and kids, or they got somebody else pregnant. That's not going to happen with me. It's not because I have fear of that. It's just because that's not my goal. I'm not going to marry you. I'm not taking you back to the United States. So that's all I had to say in this video. I'm sorry that I feel, or that I felt the need to justify my platform. But it is a little disturbing watching all of the, people monetizing on Facebook and YouTube and stuff. So if you don't know, you have to have 1,000 followers to monetize your YouTube channel. This is not a monetized YouTube channel, and I'm not currently working with any clients, so I'm not making any money off of this. I'm just sharing because I have a need from my soul and belief in my purpose that I'm supposed to seek knowledge and share knowledge, and seek love and give love. So that's what I am doing. So we will end on that happy note. It is a challenge to date and be so. I'm not cis, right, or strictly heterosexual, but I have seen women who have other something other than cishet sexuality, but be able to be successful in dating abroad and be able to have long-term relationships. I have seen that be the case, and I am not entirely object to that either. But it would still take the same type of person. That's why I say Black American person. It would still take that same mindset, that same degree of understanding. So, anyways, so challenges for the Black American woman who identifies as heterosexual living abroad. It's not necessarily everybody's viewpoint, but I think that it is generally true. Um, and that's all I had to say today. So until next time, my name is Kamina the Coach, sending you love, light, peace, and joy. Until next time, I'm out.